Tuesday evening, brand new Premier League boss Ruud Van Nistelrooy announced himself on Filbert Way as his Leicester City team were victorious and sent the Hammers and Julen Lopetegui home with a 3-1 defeat, and despite their 31 shots, it was no good. Now, Leicester City's performance by no means was perfect, but after 2 training sessions with the Foxes squad, it was a fantastic win for Leicester City, and a big one. With the tough, rugged December run coming up, they desperately needed 3 points, but also some optimism. So today we'll take a deep dive into Ruud's first game at the Leicester City dugout, using his PSV team as a reference, but looking into his overall philosophy, Leicester's overall shape, on the ball, off the ball, what Leicester City were good at, the glimpses, but also what needs to improve in their attempts at playing Premier League football next season. Let's go. So this is how Leicester City set up. A few surprising decisions were the inclusions of Connor Cody and Casey McAteer. But as you can see, a standard 4-2-3-1, but this turned into a 4-4-2 out of possession. Ruud mentioned pre-match that it would be a 4-4-2 off the ball when pressing, in attempts to be compact in deep positions, limit space, press aggressively, look for quick turnovers as he utilised Wilfred Ndidi and Boubakary Soumaré as the 2 number 6s, as Jamie Vardy and Facundo Buonanotte led the press. This tactical system is one that was directly used in similarity when he was at PSV, utilised versus Ajax in the Dutch Cup final, where he won on penalties. Defensively, it aims to be well structured, balanced and rigid, but relies on hard-working individuals, aggressive and overpowering centre-backs, midfielders and full-backs, so whenever the player closest to them receives the ball, they pounce. Meaning, his teams are energetic and very well focused on the play and what's around them. On the ball, his teams enjoy quick turnovers and overloading the wide spaces, typically with 3 players, the winger, the fullback and the number 6 offering support. At PSV, he used this a lot with Johan Bakayoko, the winger, Ibrahim Sagare, the number 6, and Teze, the fullback, like a supportive and balanced triangle shape. He likes his number 10 in the final third, particularly running beside the striker or behind the striker, as the number 9 looks to pull and pin the centre-back away to make space for the number 10. With quick transitions and a fast-moving football, it's fair to say he enjoys some more direct pieces of play, as his team won't persistently and stubbornly play short passes, whether that's from the goalkeeper or direct passes from the backline of number 6s. So that's an insight into his footballing philosophy. Let's look at the game. The game couldn't have started off any better for the Foxes. They started fast. It took Jamie Vardy just under 2 minutes to break the deadlock with a smart finish placed in the bottom corner of the net. Let's look at the combination play. Leicester in Ruud's 3-2-5, the favoured shape on the ball, as Christensen, the left back, is pushing high up. Bilal El-Chanous, the left midfielder, is drifting inside like a 10, with Facundo Buonanotte taking up a similar role alongside him as Casey McAteer holds width on the opposing flank. Goal isn't anything to complicate. Vestergaard plays a forward pass into Victor Christensen, who moves the ball intensely, knowing exactly where his next pass is gonna go. He uses his right foot here to play the pass quick. El-Chanous shifts his body, baits in 2 players, and with just 2 touches sets Jamie Vardy away in on goal, who for years has been terrorising the Premier League defenders in making those runs in behind, and was never missing from there. Leicester capitalised on West Ham's high line and complacency at the beginning of the game and got off to the dream start by simple, fast and not even that fluid play. It was a brilliant start to the opening minutes as Leicester got in a few times as West Ham looked shaky in the opening minutes. After this, West Ham had woken up. They began to dominate the ball as Leicester shifted into their 4-4-2 shape, making it compact with the energy of Soumaré and Ndidi, making it difficult for West Ham to progress centrally, which it was, but West Ham found joy in the wide areas. Bowen played it fast with Soufal a lot, and more direct form of passes to find Kudus down the other flank. West Ham found joy aerially against Leicester City by utilising Soucek high up in the final third, causing trouble for Leicester City. As West Ham enjoyed the ball, Leicester players were waiting to pounce and counter, fast with their transitional players from Vardy, Buonanotte, Bilal, McAteer, Christensen, who brought a lot of energy to this part. But the key to unleashing those players was Boubakary Soumaré. He was outstanding. His ball carrying and forward passes were key in moving Leicester City up the pitch, whilst also offering solutions to teammates stuck with the ball by running into space, as it's key for Van Nistelrooy's team to make forward passes beyond the opponent. When Leicester City had the ball, they were tasked with keeping it, and they struggled. James Justin didn't have an outlet to pass to on the right. He struggled to find McAteer, and when Buonanotte did receive the ball, he was out-muscled by Alvarez. So West Ham were overpowering Leicester as they forced them back and forced them long, which was difficult for the Foxes as all their attackers bar McAteer were small. They weren't winning second balls, so they were very dependent on pouncing on West Ham players and capitalising on errors. Leicester began to ride their luck. Bowen had drifted into the right half space next to Ings, as Soufal would push right up on the right flank. In response, Leicester City took Buonanotte away from Vardy in their press in attempts to contain West Ham. The problem wasn't necessarily the shape, but Leicester in transition wasn't moving quick enough into their designated shape and were struggling to compete in duels when West Ham did move the ball fast. But they were managing. The work of the wingers defensively were fantastic. Casey McAteer provided a lot of work defensively, covering the hard yards and helped out Justin 1v1 versus Wan-Bissaka, while Bilal El-Chenous followed Mohamed Kudus, who shifted over to the right flank, who apart from the odd 1v1 with Christensen, didn't have much joy. The half-time would come around and I expected a change from Van Nistelrooy as his team were being played through. West Ham had about 20 shots. Potentially Jordan Ayew, as he's the only attacker that contains aerial capabilities, as well as holding the ball up, so that LCFC would see the ball more often from long passes. But instead we saw him tweak Casey McAteer over to the left flank in attempts to contain Mohamed Kudus, which worked effectively, as he also swapped Facundo Buonanotte over with Bilal El-Chenous here, meaning the Moroccan led the press with Jamie Vardy and Buonanotte played on the right. He altered this as Leicester was struggling to bring the ball forward on the flank. McAteer wasn't offering himself as a passing option to Justin, but someone like Buonanotte on his favoured side would, a tight dribbler, ball carrier, somebody creative, skillful, and slightly selfish. Now the risk you run with this is, with his raw skill set, is that you lose the ball in deep positions. But it also gives Justin the chance to push up the pitch and support Buonanotte, taking on players and doing what he does best. Then, at minute 58, he brings on Wout and Patson Daka for Vestergaard and Vardy. Two players who were actually having really good games, but Daka is somebody who can press and cover a lot of ground, and Wout will be aggressive and somebody who can carry the ball forward a little bit quicker than Yannick Vestergaard. I also noticed that Ruud utilised Faz on the left side of the centre-back pairing and not the right. This could be a coincidence, or that he's fully aware of the horrible time that he and James Justin have been having on that side of the pitch, looking to counter that and not disrupt Cody's performance. In the second half, Leicester City was still riding their luck, but are looking for moments where they outduel West Ham and to capitalise on them giving the ball away, which they do for their second goal. West Ham are out of shape. Buonanotte makes a direct switch to the isolated Casey McAteer, who's ready to run, waiting for those to enter the final third, which we see McAteer stretches the West Ham backline and finds the number 11 superbly, who tucks it away brilliantly. But this was exactly what I touched on earlier. Ruud wants his number 10 in the final third. He got that, and Ruud wants his striker to make use of himself in the time being. He also got that. Patson Daka in the move is physically clashing against Mavropanos, then pulls away Kilman and Mavropanos, both centre-backs, pulled away so that the attacking midfielder would have more space to operate within the final third. It's subtle, but it's key. It's also important to notice there's 5 Leicester players in the penalty box here at the end of the move, including the right back, as the attacking intent and transition to defence to attack was clear. Now Leicester's third goal was a mix of a good ball from Christensen but pure brilliance from Patson Daka. But after that it was about game management and defending well. But why did Leicester concede such a high volume of shots? Well, simply because their defence is poor. The rest of the team, great, with genuine Premier League level quality. but the defence needs hugely investing. The centre-backs aren't quick in recovery pace at all. The full-backs in defensive positioning are a liability at times, especially James Justin. So it's not a new theme that Leicester are being exposed in wide areas, because teams are finding gaps, underlapping runs beyond the back line, and those runners are quicker than the centre-backs. In 1v1 battles, the wingers are very commonly winning, and Leicester struggle to deal with crosses in general, and also in general, defending. Leicester have conceded the most XG in the league, the second most goals in the league, averaging the most tackles and clearances in the league, because they are defending all the time. They have one clean sheet. Ultimately, Van Nistelrooy can brush up on the defence and improve with his structure as the players become more and more familiar with what he wants and he expects. But he's no miracle worker. Not many managers out there can do much with the defensive quality Leicester have, so investment in a centre-back and fullback is much needed for Leicester City in January. Many people will just take away from the game that Leicester are crap and they were very lucky, which I suppose can be true, but there were real glimpses of a quality side out there against West Ham. They created 6 big chances. The most they did in any game under Steve Cooper was 4, and that was against 10 men Ipswich and Southampton. The attacking potential in the team, weighed with its solid and creative core, outweighs the defensive weaknesses for me. Van Nistelrooy can turn Leicester City into a very exciting team. His man management and adaptability is to a very good level. We've seen in just one game at Leicester he has the ability to be active in game-making tweaks that are vital in helping his team to 3 points. I think we saw more than enough in terms of what he can bring, a good connection to the dressing room, to the fans. For him will be key in keeping Leicester City up, and there's players there I think he can really get the best out of, including Boubakary Soumaré, my man of the match last night. He could finally be the manager to unleash and utilise correctly the Frenchman in English football. Oliver Skipp could be his energetic, ball-winning, ground-covering midfielder that helps the defence out and contains some of those attacking threats. Bilal El-Chanous is an extremely exciting player. As we can all see, he's creative, he's skillful and secure with the ball with a good eye for a pass, and a squad player like Jordan Ayew will be very valuable. At PSV, Van Nistelrooy loved a De Jong up front, a good target man that gives the back line an option to go long, which Ayew brings with his hard work and aerial capabilities. The improvement will be seen in the next few weeks to months, but there's a lot of work to do. Leicester need to move the ball faster. Ruud needs to find a way for Leicester to be more secure and productive with the ball and create a compact and competitive defence, one that preferably doesn't concede 25 plus shots every game. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. What did you think of Leicester City and Ruud Van Nistelrooy's first game? Where do you think they're going to finish at the end of the season? Are they going to stay up? Are they going to get relegated? Let's see. I'll see you guys in the next one.